Welcome to Middle Centre, our adaptation of Middle Ground, where we bring two different types of people together to encourage understanding. Today, we've gathered some 9to5-ers and some freelancers or entrepreneurs. With the cost of living, high unemployment rate, along with the normalisation of remote work, there's been an exponential climb in South Africans opting to go the freelance route. So that said, anyone can be an entrepreneur. Hands up if you agree, hands down if you don't.
We are not happy, right?
You're confined to a business, you're confined to regulations, you're confined to rules that you have to abide for.
Negative about it, I would say, is not having a team around you.
With each question asked, we'll invite people to tell us whether they agree or disagree by raising their hand and then to discuss. Middle ground is where we get to understand the other side. Let's talk. So the first question or prompt for you is, everyone should have a side hustle. Hands up if you agree and hands down if you don't. Okay, let's discuss. We'll give you 5 minutes to share your views.
Okay, I'll go first. My name is Chama Mwanga. I am 31 years old. I am a freelancer. So I believe everybody should have a side hustle because ever since COVID, it sort of woke us up to realize that, okay, we can't just rely on having one job or, just relying on a sole skill. So I think it's important for people to have a side hustle, even just to upskill yourself or to earn extra cash because everybody needs it, especially with how the economy is right now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think I echo his sentiments there. Okay, so my name is Welcome. I am 24 years old and I am a 9to5. I'll stick to 9to5. I'll stick to 9to5 because you know what, it has that stability, like that steady income where you get to plan and budget for your life. Those benefits, they definitely do. I hope as I go up the ladder, they also, but yeah, I'll definitely stick to my 9to5. I think it's important to have a safety net because 9to5 jobs they're not so safe in a way. You're not secure. Anything can happen to a business. You might get fired for anything, unfair dismissal, things like that. So I think having a side hustle will give you that safety net and also gaining some skills, skills that you can also apply to your 9to5 job, your communication skills, because if you have a side hustle, you engage with a lot of personalities and I think that's where you gain some skills that you can apply also to your 9to5 job.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm going to keep it short and simple because they basically said everything. But in Cyril's economy, it's very important that you've got at least another source of income. In the definition of side hustle, we'd probably have to debate about that. But you do need something else on top of your day-to-day or the salary that you're getting at the end of the month. So I agree with the prompt.
Definitely agree with everybody. So my name is Olebogen Ramirafi. I am 34 years old and I'm a 9to5. But I think besides Cyril's economy, I would add that, job creation is a big thing. So having a side hustle will actually help in terms of job creation and us also giving back. If you're an entrepreneur, you're also able to give back. So that will also kind of boost our economy.
Nice. I also agree. My name is Tembiso. I'm 30 and I'm a 9to5-er. And I think my agreement is more on also from my aspect is that just being able to, after the side hustle, let me say this. I always see it as something that I can leave it to my kids, leave it to whoever, my family, beyond. Because sometimes when you are employed by one employer and then tomorrow is a D-Day and it is what it is, but a side hustle gives you those extra means of actually giving back to your family or kids or whatever,
Great. So that said, anyone can be an entrepreneur. Hands up if you agree, hands down if you don't.
That's a good start. We all agree. You want to go?
Yeah. I don't think anyone Okay, let me say anyone possibly can, but will they be a successful entrepreneur is the question. Okay, my name is Jubilee. I am 20-something, 25 if you're nasty. And I'm currently an entrepreneur, freelancer. Yeah. I think a lot of the times, especially like in our communities, entrepreneurship is seen as, oh, you couldn't get a proper job or you couldn't do this and therefore you're doing the entrepreneurship journey. But like as an entrepreneur myself, I feel like it's so difficult because like one day things are going great and, you know, you're making that money and it's like, I would have never seen this money in corporate. And then another month comes and it's like, whew, okay, there's like nothing going on. So like it needs grit, it needs perseverance. It also just needs you to actually want to be an entrepreneur. So that's why I disagree with the prompt. But I feel like possibly anyone can. It depends on whether or not you'll be successful. I think there's a misconception that it is all like once you make it, then you've made it and you just continue making it. But I think it comes in like ebbs and flows and like there's valleys and there's like mountaintops where you can think you've arrived as an entrepreneur and you're like, okay, I'm making good money. And then like a big client drops you or whatever. So I think it's a thing of making it big when it comes to entrepreneurship is a longer process than if you get a position in like a 9-to-5 and then like you're guaranteed to only go up from there.
So for me, nice and short, it's definitely not for the faint-hearted. So if you've got the resilience, right, and you're able to pick yourself up every single time you fall down, then definitely for you. But if not, definitely don't go that route.
Yeah, I think I don't agree with it. So first, just on record. But the reason why is because I feel like there is a certain element of somebody having the entrepreneurial spirit in them, and not everybody that does have it. So what we need to also learn as a society and teach each other is that not everybody has to go and follow the trend of people starting businesses and so forth. Know what you're good at, know your strengths, and go from there, I feel. Yeah.
Okay, I think just to add on what you just said, I think like talent, I think like that's the one thing that people like tend to forget. Like you need to be talented to like be in that space. Talent, hard work, dedication, you know, like all the certain skills like that you need to combine to be that one successful, well not one, but to be the successful, you know, person there.
Cool. My turn. So I also disagree. I think it's a question of nature versus nurture. You know, some people they have the characteristics by birth, for example. You can teach a few things, but I guess it's always easier when it's natural. You know, it almost becomes like a Messi versus Cristiano Ronaldo type of situation. Well, that's soccer, but yeah. So that's why I disagree.
To play devil's advocate, because we're all disagreeing and we're all agreeing, do we think, because we all mentioned like you need to have resilience and grit and do we think it's something that someone can like develop and become an entrepreneur, or it's either like you're saying nature versus nurture, or either you have it or you don't? I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah. So for me, you can definitely develop, but obviously it's up to the person and how they take that. At work recently, we spoke about like feedback. You know, for instance, that's a very important thing that if people can take feedback properly, I feel that's the first step. And then you can go on and see how they can develop and how you can mentor them in a way, I guess. But yeah, it has to come with determination, or you got just the natural grit, you know, family lineage and so forth. I don't know if anybody.
Totally agree. It's something that you can develop, right? It's the same as a skill, starting a job. You actually come in at a blank phase, right? You don't know anything. And then somebody takes the time to actually nurture you to get to that level that they want you to get. So definitely you can become an entrepreneur. It also just depends on you as a person. At the end of the day, it's all about you, right? So are you going to really drive yourself to get to that level? Because I can only push you so far as well, right? Or do you just want me to push you? Remember as well, there has to be a balance. There's people that have to be entrepreneurs because we actually need that in our economy. And then there's to be workers, right? So you can develop it, but I still say not everybody can be an entrepreneur.
Next question. Your background has no influence on your success. Discuss.
Well, I feel like it does. As people, I don't think like we are all equal. Eh? We're not equal. Our socio-economic status, like what you have access to, I don't have access to it. So your success can be like the smooth sailing success where like school, varsity, work, sorted. And then I have to like start from the bottom, go like, okay, you know what? I have to like source funds like for the education, like for me to get to that successful point, you know? So I think like things like your socio-economic status and like biases in general, like things like your gender, you know, male, female, are you perceived like equally? Are you given like the same opportunities? Black, white, colored, are you also like given like the same, you know, opportunities to have like access to the same resources and stuff like that? So I do think like where you come from, it definitely like do have an impact on where, I mean, like hard work, obviously, like there are some people like who push, you know, their hard work, it takes them there, but then that's not always the case for everyone. Yeah, I think that's my point.
Wait, is the question, does your background have an influence on your success or it doesn't?
It does.
It doesn't. Okay, my hand is down. It doesn't.
Okay, what about it does?
Does your background?
Your background has no influence is the question.
Your background has no influence on your success. That's yes, I agree. All right. So I'd say it has no influence because it really is at the end of the day about you, right? So for example, you have kids that come from well-off families with the greatest of opportunities, and then you see some of them in the streets as hobos. They determined the route that they wanted to take. And then you have disadvantaged kids that really went and sourced for that resource, and they wanted the success because they wanted to change the background that they're coming from. So at the end of the day, it's about you and the chances that you go take. Yes, I understand there's the color element, there's the gender element, but you break down that barrier, you break down those walls. I think if you want something bad enough, honestly, your background will either make you drive for it, like want it really badly, or not. But at the end of the day, it's still about you, right? I think we all go into the same world. Really doesn't matter what the landing is, whether it's soft or it's not soft. At the end of the day, it's a choice thing. You make the choice. You make the choice to go to varsity and actually attend those classes and actually pass, or you just don't go and wing it at exams. And then at the end of the day, you're the one that has to go to interviews, not your parents, not the soft landing, right? When you get into the job market, you're the one that actually has to work. Doesn't matter the soft landing that you got at home. So for me, your background really doesn't have an influence. It's a choice. It's really on you.
So the next question is, an online presence perception determines my success.
I'm in between.
Yeah.
Hands up if you agree, hands down if you don't.
I'm going to agree.
Sorry, ask it again.
An online presence perception determines my success.
Determines it.
So I'm going to agree based off of social media, LinkedIn. LinkedIn has become one of the main places where people source employees. And a lot of the time it's based on what has been posted there. Like, obviously it's not 100% the case, but I think in the digital age we live in, where people are doing a lot of hybrid work, you're able to work for like an overseas company, they're going to go based off of what you've put out there. So I think in the sense of like getting work or getting jobs, it's similar to like a CV or like a portfolio. Like, they're obviously going to look at that. But obviously with life in general, no. But I think when it comes to like jobs and booking things, it's a very big role that it plays.
Cool. The reason why I disagree is that, okay, my thing is just depends on the industry, right? But I think you said it in somewhat. Just depends on industry. Yes, I mean, nowadays it'll give you a big advantage because everybody's online, everything's online. But there are some industries that they can live without it, you know? So yeah, that's why I disagree.
Now I feel like it does. Ne? You know why? Because, you know, your online, what can I call it? Yeah, your online presence. Ne? It's sort of like a platform where you can share, your achievements and stuff like that. It's an online CV basically. So as a 9 to 5, that's where like you showcase your skills, your abilities, your achievements and stuff like that. And even like as a hustler, if you are self-employed, that's one thing that can make your business or like, kill it completely. Because like we are in this digital age where also like the cancel culture is a thing. Now imagine like you saying something like this.
Yeah.
You see, so things like that. I feel like, like the digital age is like something that's big. It comes with a lot of advantages, and I think it can like make you a successful 9 to 5 or a self-employed person. Yeah.
Next prompt is, I plan to continue making a living the way I am now.
If money wasn't an issue, I would have picked a entrepreneurship. Yeah.
I plan to continue making a living the way I am now.
Okay.
So I start.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing about me, I know for a fact, a business is something that it won't work. It won't work. Like I know myself. Like things like your leadership skills. Things like that. As a human being, like you know yourself. Like a business is something that I don't see myself going into, not because of I'm scared of a challenge or things like that, but it's because I know I do not have the skills to make it a success. Yes, I can go and learn, do skills and stuff like that and apply it. But then I'm happy with my 9 to 5. I'll stick to that. The steady income, I don't want to shake my boat in jail. Like that steady income, like those benefits, they're okay for me. So yeah.
Okay. With me, I feel like in terms of my profession right now, I don't feel like I am going to still be in it in the next 2 to 3 years, just simply because of my inquisitiveness and my like my constant urge to learn and do different things, even judging by the different stuff that I studied, before, similar but different, and what I want to go into next in terms of the industry of what I am in now, it's totally different as well. So yeah, I don't see myself honestly staying or making a living the way I am right now. That's just honestly speaking.
No, definitely not seeing myself in a 9 to 5. The fact that it's even a 9 to 5 for me, that's quite painful. But you're confined to a business, you're confined to regulations, you're confined to rules that you have to abide to. So you can't be as creative as you want to be because you have to work within parameters. I think I'm pretty balanced. So I get bored easily, and I can tell that there's only so much of corporate one can actually do, right? And there is a ceiling in corporate. So I think for me, in the next 5 years, I'm planning to see how do I exit corporate to something that will be fulfilling for me, because being purpose-driven is a big thing. So yes, the money is great, but I think after some time, the money doesn't do it anymore, right? And so for me, I'm going to follow purpose definitely in the next 5 years. Whether I'll be an entrepreneur or I will be a partner in somebody else's journey, I'm very open to that.
Okay, I only disagreed because I went straight out of varsity into entrepreneurship, freelancer type thing. So I think there has to come a time in my life for like financial foundation where you're able to build like a good credit score. Because like right now, like Welcome has said, like, you've got good months where it's like, the money's rolling, and then you've got months where it's bad. So I think probably in like the next 3 years, I see myself going into corporate, but only for like a short period of time, nothing more than like 5-6 years, because I've tasted and seen like how good it is to be your own boss. But I think the only reason why I disagreed is because I was like, I need to do 9 to 5 for a short period of time.
I also disagreed. Currently, no. What I do is stressful. So I got a cap, like she said. So actually, I got an exit plan. So I got a 10-year exit plan. Went to switch everything over. So what that means is essentially what my 9 to 5 is must be my side hustle. What my side hustle is should be my actual 9 to 5. And the reason for that is because, like I said, it's stressful. And also another reason is that what I do. So I'm a creative. I like playing with stuff. And what I do currently, I don't have. I'm capped. Like I need to. Yeah, it's a bit technical. So it's like maths or whatever, algorithms. So I don't have that. I can't flex my brain.
The work kind of gets monotone at some point where you get bored of what you're doing because it's the same thing over and over again. So which then leads to job dissatisfaction.
So essentially, that's why I would say no.
Anyone can become an executive in their career path.
Anyone can come. Okay, the reason why I agree with that is because if you choose this career and you really want to be in it, definitely if you put perseverance and determination in it, you can get there, right? But like I disagreed earlier with anybody can be an entrepreneur, it's obviously down to you. But in terms of an entrepreneur, it's more volatile situation. Whereas in your career path, this is something that you wanted to do for a long time. I'm believing if you're trying to also stay in it, So yeah, you can be an executive, like if you become a master of it, obviously. So everybody else does.
So I'm going to take it from a talent perspective, right? So I'm in talent. And so I disagree. So to be an executive, there's so many factors. Yes, it's you, but there's outside factors that are going to get you there. Remember, when you're in corporate, there's what we call having a sponsor, right? And for you to be an executive, it really starts when you are literally at that low level and making sure that you are visible to the right people, right? You are involved in the right kind of work. Remember, in corporate, there's working for working, and then there's being involved in the right type of work that will basically showcase you to the right type of people, right? And then when you get showcased to the right type of people, then you need to go get sponsors. These are people that will advocate for you. So when you get to an executive level, there's people that had conversations about you in a room that you don't interview to be an executive. There's people that are having conversations about you in the right platform, that are advocating and that are saying, I'm backing this person up. The positive of a 9 to 5 is the ability to network, right? You have all this network at your fingerprints. The people that you work with are actually your networks, and you are open to that for free, right? I am all for this person, and those people are going to help you succeed as an executive. So for me, not everybody can be an executive because there's external factors besides yourself that play a part in terms of that. You can work as hard as you like in corporate, right? But for some people, there'll always be a ceiling and they won't reach that level.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly the same thing, that I feel like so many stars have to align for that to happen. And thanks for your technicalness, because I was not going to say all of those things, but like so many things have to come into play for you to end up in that position. I do think, however, the way you probably interpreted the question was more of like you could reach your goals, like whatever your peak is. But executive as defined, I think, yeah, it's not anyone who can be it. Also just because there are just so many isms out there. But on top of that, it's just that so many things have to come into play from when you started there to what you've done, like years back. Like so many things come into play when there's an opening, what position of life you're in. Like so many things have to happen. So that's why I was like, I disagree.
In some sense, what you know is who you know. It's who you know, definitely.
Okay, I'll keep it sweet and short. That's why we have like leaders and bosses. You know, you have a leader and then you have a boss. So for you to become an executive, I feel like there's so much that has to like come into play. You know, there has to be like mentorship for you to be in that position, because of when you are at that stage, it's no longer about you per se. It's about your team also. You get me? So as an executive, you also have to like uplift whoever is coming behind you. So if you can't do that, then
I feel financially secure.
You?
The type of jobs that you can get, whether you can, like, there's some months where you have to take lower than your rates. There's some months where your rates are coming consistently.
okay, I'm in the middle.
I mean, if you're in the middle, then you can go first. You're closer to agree than the rest of us.
Okay, I'm in the middle because I've got a job now. You don't know what's going to happen. That's why I'm in the middle. I don't want to lie.
Should I go? Yeah, I want to say the middle as well, but more as well to disagree. The reason why I would say the middle is because, I mean, I think a lot of things, well, personally, I think finance is linked to your lifestyle, right? So the question is, and then also happiness and stuff. So what brings you, what keeps you happy? The misconception is that we are not happy, right? But once again, for me, I feel like there's different spurts of it. You know, there's times where you are happy, there's times where you're not happy. So there are people that actually work 9 to 5 and are very happy. You know what I mean? Is it expensive? Is it cheap? So based on that, I would then put myself in a certain place. So, and also currently, I mean, personally, I'm very, what's this? I'm a little bit of, I'm not going to say I overthink things personally. So I always need to have a stash somewhere. And no, I'm not a billionaire, but a stash could be 10 grand. That can last me X, Y, and Z based on how I live, right? So if I can say maybe 10 grand can last me 6 months. And then when the question is, how do I then, to the question, when do I consider myself financially fit? You know, if the answer is, if it's 5 years, like I'm from sharp, then I'm sharp.
Clearly, you guys are not in Cyril's economy.
I
If you
was
are,
literally-
like, okay. Like, have you guys seen the repo rate recently? Like, tax is killing us. And then secondly, everything is expensive. So, like, what would one really say they are financially okay with tax, with everything being expensive, everything going up, and Cyril doing what Cyril is doing to us?
Yeah, I disagreed from the perspective of a freelancer / entrepreneur. Yeah, this is probably the millionth time I'm mentioning this, but like I said, there are good months and bad months. And currently, I wouldn't say I feel entirely financially secure because, like you mentioned, finances are in some way, shape, or form tied to your lifestyle, and you kind of get used to a certain way of doing life and living life. So when your finances are tickering, also like life starts to tick because you kind of equate it to the other. So I think I answer the question based off of where I am currently in terms of entrepreneurship. But I think, like you're mentioning as well, in the economy, I think with everything just so volatile, you just never know.
I'll keep it brief. We live in South Africa in 2023, so yeah.